Really great semifinals. We had a lot of really great brands, interesting brand propositions, formulations, packaging. In terms of the 6 finalists, what was the common theme, I guess, in terms of what made you guys think that these are the ones to move forward to the finals, Mark?
I'm not sure how much was in common, but what I think we all sort of felt we were looking for is something that could break out, something that had a chance to be different, be unique. It's such a competitive category, so I think that's what I felt like I was looking for, at least.
Where did some of the brands kind of fall off in terms of not having the right packaging, not having the right formulation? Where did some of the brands really fall off, Chuck?
Yeah. I think the brands that fell off right away were ones that were not unique, they weren't special, they weren't different, they were really just another brand in the category and weren't going to be special.
Dwayne, what did you see in the finalists that you think will propel them beyond just this startup stage?
Yeah, first of all, I think I agree with Mark that I would say none of the brands have every single box checked. There are some fine-tuning to be done across the board there. And the other thing, and I don't know, as Chuck said, I want to see some clean ingredients out there. If beverage is going to follow food in any way, usually beverage is out in front of there, go clean. There were several products in there that had the first 2 ingredients were water and sugar. That, at least in my experience in food, isn't going to play for much longer. The ingredient piece, getting that box checked, the values piece, the organic, the non-GMO, nobody quite had it all together. There were a couple that were darn close.
And John, in terms of you saw ingredient-based innovation, you saw processing-based innovation. Is there a thread? I mean, do new brands really have to have both to really stand out, particularly when you're launching a natural?
Well, I mean, it seems like brands have to have, I don't know, a little bit of everything, right? And there were some products in there that, I think the ingredients were more unique than others, like we were talking about. Some had, better packaging. But I think, at the end of the day, it's just a simple, like, do you want to drink this and, do you understand what it is, too? And I think that's something that, for some of the products, like, I think it was a little challenging to figure out, what they were. And I think those are the ones that kind of fell off, didn't make the cut, so.
Last question is about scalability. When you see these brands and early stage brands, and I think it's hard to see them become $10 million, $100 million brands right from the get-go. What do they need to remember to consider that long-term goal of becoming a major player, a major brand, Mark?
Well, I think first of all, it's remembering that it is for most of these businesses about scale. I think it does start with what the founders want. Perhaps they want to build a brand that's local, family controlled, that's kind of a lifestyle product that makes an impact in a small way. Well, that's fine. That's what it's going to be. But I think the real opportunities that are exciting are ones that can have scale, and I think that can impact on a larger way. And so, first of all, is to remember to think that big about it. And I think, ironically, I think that starts with thinking small. What is that specific value proposition, that specific consumer group, that specific market that you can win in that allows you to scale? And so I think recognizing that somewhat of a disconnect to say you got to be very specific on a value proposition that potentially can be something huge, which I think we only saw in a few of these.
Chuck, is that the reason that VEB invested in a brand like Zico?
Yeah, I think I want to add something to what Mark was saying. I think that, and I heard Kombucha Dave, and I've worked for Seth Goldman. These are owners and brand builders that really believed in what they were doing. They were very passionate about it. They protected their marketing. They protected their brand image. I mean, Seth Goldman was literally and still to this day responds to personal emails. If he sees something out there, a trend or a direction, he gets out there in front of it. So they built this loyal following. I heard Suja, how they built up their Facebook, and social media. They really built this out from a grassroots and a ground up, and then it just expanded and word of mouth, and people know it, and then it grows, and then retailers want it. And I think that's how a lot of these brands can scale up pretty.
So start grassroots, focus small, but remember that the big picture is always out there.
Right.
Okay, great. So just before we announce the finalists, we'll announce the audience finalists, the audience winner, which was Tio Gazpacho. Congratulations to Tio. And there were over 500 audience votes, so thanks to you so much for participating. And let's show the finalists up here. We have Tio Gazpacho, Jade Monk, Genius Juice, Black Medicine, Cocoa Beat, and Molly's Milk Truck. Congratulations to all of you. Thank you. And to all the semifinalists, thank you so much for participating. I highly recommend you come and speak with the judges. They are a wealth of information. But until tomorrow is when we do the finals, and it'll start around 11 o'clock tomorrow, so you don't want to miss that. Tune in and stick around for that for sure.